M. Fletcher Brown with another artist video blog at kicks96country.com. Our guest today, all the way from the great state of Virginia, please welcome Glen Shelton. How are you, man?
Doing great. I appreciate you having me.
All right, so I've never been to Virginia. All right, I've heard it's for lovers. I just think that's the greatest state motto ever. I think it writes itself. But you're originally from Central Virginia, right?
Yes.
All right, so talk
Lynchburg.
Lynchburg. Okay, yeah, famous part of Virginia. I mean, that's a lot of history there.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, talk to us then about growing up in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Sure. Well, I've had a pretty boring life, other than music.
There's nothing interesting about me at all. Why are we even having this conversation? That's now. I don't want to say that that's not true. I mean, you assess your own life, but I mean, seriously, it's like you grow up in a place, you know, that is obviously loaded with a lot of. Virginia is a very important state,
Right,
first of all,
right.
to the United States. Lynchburg has a lot of history, you know, going back to the Civil War and everything like that.
Yeah.
There had to be, you know, something about, you know, just growing up in that environment that inspired you musically, anyway.
Well, Lynchburg is like a town that you wouldn't even recognize it now if you grew up in it.
Really?
It's really grown from what it was. You know, Lynchburg is, you know, it's a college town, number one. They got several colleges. And just the area being there kind of in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, I couldn't wait to get out of the city. You know, so I live in Amherst County now, which is north of Lynchburg. We live about probably 10 miles from the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Okay.
And so, while I don't necessarily get a lot of my inspiration from the mountains, it's a nice place to be to kind of get you in that mode. Anyway,
What would you say is like the most popular, the prevailing musical stylings in an area? Like what's the most popular? Is it like bluegrass, country,
well,
rock?
it's probably a lot of different things, but if you go southwestern Virginia, now that's folk and that's bluegrass, heavy folk.
See, I
and
love
bluegrass.
that. I
Yes,
love that storytelling.
Yes, 2 to 3 hours probably from where I live.
Okay.
Heavily folk bluegrass type, you know, Americana type stuff.
Some of the most amazing storytelling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yes.
So
And but in the Lynchburg area, it's probably a mixture of you know, rock and blues and jazz and country and, you know, kind of a whole deal there.
when did you start playing?
You know, I've been singing ever since I was a kid, but yet as far as like really serious, you know, probably about 20 years ago, I got really serious with this thing. And, you know, it's gotten real serious here in the last year.
Well, obviously you're here.
Yes, yes.
So now you're still living in Virginia, but you're back and forth to Nashville. You're recording,
Right.
All right. You've got new music, new single. I'm all in.
Yes.
All right. Now this is your first foray into the world of country. So talk to us then a little bit about your writing formula, your writing style. Is this one that you wrote, or is this one that you found from a songwriter?
Yep, we wrote this one. Most of the songs on the new album are ones I've written, and I write probably different than maybe some people write. My inspiration in a lot of my songs is my wife.
Yeah.
But yet I get a lot of my melodies and ideas when I'm dreaming, when I'm sleeping. Many songs that I've written on this album, as well as other songs, I'll wake up with the song. I mean, it's something it's just God-given gift.
Yeah.
I just wake up with a new melody and a new, you know, set of lyrics. It's amazing.
Now you credit, as far as like your musical inspirations, everybody from like Tim McGraw to Luke Bryan.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So you don't consider yourself firmly wedged in either strong traditional country or new, more contemporary style country. You just kind of
all of it.
So you feel comfortable like in either?
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel comfortable covering a Merle Haggard song and covering a Luke Combs song. You know, I think it's all cool.
Yeah.
You know, and even in the I'm All In song, you know, that's more of a modern type deal, but yet a reference, you know, singing some Merle or a little hearing some Merle, you know.
Well, let's talk about the single "I'm All In." What is that song about?
Well, the hook line came from a conversation with Bruce Allen and I, the CEO of Jordache Records, and we were just talking about some plans of, you know, the new release. We had our first release back in 2022. This is our second release here, and so we were talking about this release, and actually we were talking about the first release, and I said something and I said, he said something, and I said, well, I'm all in. And he said, there's your song. And I'm not kidding you. I wasn't even trying to write a song. The next morning or 2 mornings after that, I woke up with this song. I woke up with the melody, with the chorus. And while this is not about a record label, it's just about a lot of guys. Hey, you know, we've had bad days. You know, we're out of gas. We're out of cash. Credit cards not working. You know, girl left us. But then the thing that changes it is seeing another beautiful girl. And so when I was writing this song, like I said, in my sleep, or the melody, and I kind of wrote the chorus in my sleep, as I got up that morning and started actually putting it all together, I was like, you know, the thing that really changes it for me, or for a guy kind of down on his luck, is seeing a beautiful girl sitting in this little diner. And basically, you're so desperate, you're like, look, even if you have to pretend you want to be my friend, I'm all in.
I'm all in. It's a great premise for a song. I mean, for a guy like me though, I remember, like, you know, as a younger man anyway, it's like I was all in for all the wrong things. A friend of mine would come by and say, hey, let's do this. And I'm like, that sounds like a terrible idea. Let's do it. So that was me. Glen Shelton is our guest. If you want to hear the single, I'm All In, make sure to call us at Kicks 96. We will gladly play it for you. Now, Glen, if somebody hears the song or has heard, you know, our conversation and decided they've got to know as much as they can about Glen Shelton, where do they find you on the internet?
GlenShelton.com. Glen with one N, Shelton with a T. Also, you know, you can follow us at Facebook, Glen Shelton Music, and Instagram as well. Or you can just send us an email at Glen, Glen, at GlenShelton.com. Any questions anybody has, and we'll help them.
Absolutely. Make sure you find Glen on his website and, of course, on his social media. If you want to hear the single, call us at Kicks 96. We'll play it for you. Glen, thanks for visiting us.
Thank you, sir.
We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Look for a live performance from Glen elsewhere here on our YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time on another artist video blog, Kicks96country.com.
Pardon me for staring, the girl I call